Saber, they call it, see. That's what you had to,
It's a heavy gun.
it'll come off, you know.
Yeah.
Bayonet.
Press this, supposed to,
That's your
right here.
Japanese rifle.
Might be stuck in place
Yeah.
in there. That's all right. You can leave it like it is.
Yeah, well, one that came with it, I think my boy Rick took it and traded it to somebody, and then Bill found this one here, but it was something like this one here.
Yeah.
But now this is what you had to fight with. Now they use, you know, computer
Right.
and send that stuff off, but this here is what you had to, this is the Jap gun. We had the other one, M1.
Is this where your sights go or something?
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
Got any ammo for it or
Well,
shells? or-
his father-in-law got me a box, but the way things has happened, I'm afraid.
I don't know if I would trust
I'm
them.
afraid to
Blow up
use it.
on you.
I think I got
Right.
a box of them here, one of them drawers over there. No, I never have got nobody. I've been trying to get Donnie to take it up north and try it out, tie it to a tree or something, you know, and tie it out. Try it out, but he never had done it. And anyway, they fixed up a box, and we went into that little building and says, take whatever you want. And so I got 2 of them clocks. I gave one of them to my mom, and I kept this one I got now. And I got 2 of them Sabers, one big one, and one small one. And I gave Bill that big one. I don't know what he's done with it, you know. Then the other one, I was going with a girl before I started going with Jean, you know. And I gave that to her brother. I don't know whether he still got it or not. But I gave that, and I had a kimono, and we call them like bathrobes over here,
Yeah,
but
kimonos.
they call them kimonos, you know. And I had one of them, but they went down to a place where they done a lot of carpenter work. The Army did, and I got a box, and they put this in it, and them clocks, them sabers, all in that box, and mailed it home to me free of charge.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and but that's then as I say, I forgot all about it. You know, I wiped it out when I got home. There, that come off. That I didn't talk about it whenever I was.
So when they gave you that leave, was that your complete leave, or did you have to
No,
return?
they never gave it to me. I
Oh.
never had no time. I was over there I was over there about 28 months.
Were you there when the bombs went?
Yeah. I could see the flash, you mean that atomic deal? Yeah, we didn't know what it was. They wouldn't tell you. The first one.
How far? Could you feel it, or
No.
just seen the big flash?
See, they didn't tell you nothing. You got no news until the only time they said anything, said the Japs had surrendered. And there's MacArthur, and they signed the peace treaty on the battleship Missouri. And then they told us when they signed it, we was on Okinawa, and we had it under control. That you could kind of walk around, you know, and that. And that's when they put us on that plane to go to Tokyo. And then I left Tokyo and traveled to come home. But I was in reserves for when I came up here. Me and Gene got married and all that. I came up here then. I was in, and when the Korean War broke out, why, I had to go to Detroit, take another physical because I was in the reserves. But I think I had, we had 3 kids at that, Glenda, Carmen, Rick, I think. But I never did hear no more about it. But I never, but anyway, I made, you know, the cook. I went in, well, I was KP. My last name, you know, started with a B. It seemed like every other day I would get KP. That's works in the kitchen, you know, and have to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning, have it all, the meals all ready, you know, the other cooks. And we'd have to wash the cook units and all that stuff like that. And so I told him, I says, you know, I'd like to get in here as a cook. I said, I'm here on KP so much. I said, I just wants to join it. So we was there at the Hebrides Islands at that time. And so I don't care, like now, you know, 9 o'clock, whether it was daylight or whether it was dark, lights were out. And so the captain come by that evening and says, lights out. And so he went around and told everybody, you know, we had them tents of wood about this high, and then the rest of it was tarp. You know. And he come back by and he stepped inside and he told the guy that was the baker. And he told him, said, I told you to turn them lights out. He popped off and he hit that captain, you know. They put him in the guardhouse. I don't know what ever happened to him. I've never seen him more. So then that's when they called me and says, you want to cook? I said, he said, can you cook? I said, you bet. So I went down there and that night I went down there, and the next night was. And so I made a big old peach cobbler, you know. And boy, they went for that. Then my job then was the baker. If I wanted to make rolls or cinnamon rolls or light bread and stuff like that, well, that's what I did. I'd start about 6 o'clock in the evening and get on about 11, and I was all done until the next night. So then they said, well, first cook. And so they just automatically moved me up took me off the bakery and put me on to cook. Then it wasn't long till the first cook left. Well, then they put me up to first cook. Then I went from the first cook to staff sergeant. That was over all the cooks, make out the schedule and all that stuff. But then I come home.
What's your favorite memory from the war? Was there any like good experience you took out of it?
Oh, you know, it's really hard to say. There's no, that's why I say I never talk too much about it, you know. Is a lot of the guys that I went over on the ship with never come back, or I didn't see them. And well, as I say, I don't know. I wasn't a Christian at that time, but I tell you, they opened up with everything they had one night, and I just said, nobody knew it but me, and I just says, Lord, if you're out there, I says, either have them to run out of ammunition or do something, you know. And they just quit. The next morning, well, we had these long I call them trench. They call them trench, two guys. You could lay down in them. Rain, oh rain. And all you had is them ponchos, like just a leather rubber outfit with a hole in it, just fold over you. And that hole got full of water, and you had to pull guard 2 hours on and 2 off. Well, you lay down and have that water cover up with that water, and it's just your head sticking out. Time you get that water warm so you can sleep, well, it's time to get out of there, and then you freeze. But anyway, when the battle was going on there at Okinawa, captain come by and he'd say, "No prisoners tomorrow. No prisoners." Oh, that we liked that. You know. So they'd start bombing us. The Japs, they cremated most all their people, and they had these cement tombs, like things about this high, and had steps in them. And they used it too to store a lot of their rice in there. And we'd move that rice out, and we'd get in there. Oh, you stick your head in there, and the fleas, I'm telling you, they just cover you alive. So then he'd come by and, "Okay, boys, put the dead back in there, and come on, you got to get out of there." But then you check your belt, and them fleas would just be lined up, just one right behind the other. And they had 5-gallon buckets of some kind of powder. I don't know what the name of it was, but they say just take a bath with that powder to get rid of them fleas. I'll tell you that island was working alive with them things. So finally we got it under control. But anyway, get back that we had them prisoners, and they kind of come in on us at night. The Japs did, and they was firing everything they had, and so we had a little shack we was staying in there, and there's a trench run like this here, water down inside there, and there was a 55-gallon barrel right along like that. Here I am laying this way by the side of it. I didn't want to get out in that water, but next morning after it's all over with, that barrel was just bullet holes in it. You know, I guess that's all it saved me. That's all I can think of now. But then this one time, they was shooting them artillery guns. So that's when I asked if either have them to run out of shells or make them go farther away. And after the next morning, after we come out of our hole there was a shell laying about as far from at the end of that couch over there, about that big round. It hadn't even went off.
Oh, wow.
And I can remember that, you know. But the rest of it, well, you just, you know, nothing to see, you know. That there was a thing that I thought of mostly, you know. But my buddies that I got acquainted with, really, they got killed. The only one guy, I guess, is my first cook's. He's the only name that I remember, because we kind of had to run. He never could get that meal out on time.
What was his name?
Atheist.
Atheist?
Yeah. And finally one morning I just told him, I says, "You want to go back to the field?" And he said, "Oh no." We had them old gas stoves. You had to, you know, put that white gas in them and pump them up and that. But he never could get it going. I told him, I said, "If you're late fixing chow in the morning, you're going back to the field." He wasn't late anymore. But he's the one that came home before I did. Yeah. But that clock, I took it out here at the clock corner before they went out of business,